morning. So it's 6:40, sunrise is at 7:34. Wasn't going to go out this morning, the forecast was for a lot of cloud, and but by default I always check out the window a good couple of hours before sunrise just to make doubly sure, and there is a little bit of hope. So I've jumped out, grabbed the gear, and I'm heading up the hill. And even though I wasn't, or I'm not that impressed with the location on the bridge, from a mental stimulation point of view, that band of slightly clearer conditions over on the east coast is enough to make me want to go up there and try and get something different to the sunny shot that I got when I first arrived. Now, as I stand here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16 photographers on the bridge, and there's an accumulation of people really where I want to be. But that's life. I'll spin that round, let you have a look at whether you can see that. Just zoom in. Sorry, this is very ropey filming. There you go. If you can see that or not, I don't know. There's a lot of people, but we're all in it. We all love it, and that's why we're going up there. Another one person joining them there. It's just craziness, absolute craziness. There's so many people that'd be so keen to get one shot. Anyway, I'm not going to film anymore. I'll show you the image when I get it. So I am officially the last man standing. I'm still stood here braving the traffic and the freezing cold as it actually is at this moment in time. The light didn't materialise, but I've hung around. Everyone else has gone, all the groups. I think there's about 20 in total at the end. It's just staggering, all stood shoulder to shoulder, just jostling for the best position. Some really knowledgeable and some absolute beginners with amazing kits. It's quite astonishing, really. So yeah, I hung around and I give it another half an hour. In my experience, you can get colour quite late when the sun's risen up, especially on overcast days like this. When the sun gets high, it can actually put a little bit of colour just sort of leaching through the clouds. So I did stick around for that, but half an hour is normally long enough, and the time now is, well, it's just gone 8 and sunrise was at 7:34, so I'm going to call it. In terms of the image, I actually think I got a reasonably nice image. This scene, I think, lends itself to a great photograph in any conditions, and this is probably the worst conditions, and you'll see in a second. It's still a lovely shot, and I think the red huts are key. Without the red huts, it would just be very, very bland, and the red huts just add that nice bit of splash of colour that just lift the image. And of course, the drama of the mountain beyond is so impressive and so what's the word I'm looking for, just so dominant in the image that it just overshadows everything, and it just looks so imposing, and for those reasons the image works in any conditions, and I'm happy with what I got. I'm going to head back now, but I'm not going to go straight back. I'm going to call en route to a place just inside the harbour wall where I spotted something yesterday when I was rummaging around looking for some new shots in the bad light, and I came across something a little bit different. It's not landscape, but I'm going to head there now. So I don't know whether you could hear that. That's the sound of the kittiwake. And whilst I've photographed kittiwakes before, I've never photographed them on a windowsill. It's really quite unusual. It's probably quite common for this part of the world. But certainly in the UK, kittiwakes are generally found on sea cliffs. And at this moment in time, there's a group of 5 birds sat on this windowsill. There's 2 windowsills together. I'll show you now. And I suspect they're going to nest there. Just further down to the right, there is a pair of birds sat. It's obscured, I can't really show you. But there's a pair of birds actually sat on an old nest. Now, we are outside the nesting season, or the breeding season. But I'm pretty sure this is where they're going to breed, and they're probably on territory now, in readiness for the breeding season. But they're such lovely birds, and they've got this very distinct call that actually sounds like they're saying the name, kittiwake. And if they do it whilst I'm talking to the camera now, you'll hear it. There you go, kittiwake. That's how you know what they are. These are black-leg kittiwakes. There's also a red-leg kittiwake, but these are the black-leg variety. So I just thought I'd take a shot of them, and it's a very, very simple shot. The building, I'm not sure what purpose the building is, but it's right on the edge of the harbour, and it's just this wood panel building. It looks quite rustic, and the window has got these really old tatty net curtains up, and the birds just look brilliant set amongst it. So what I'm doing is I've set the composition with the windows just slightly off to one side, and it basically just makes a lovely pleasing shot. Very, very simple. In terms of aperture, I've gone for f8 because that's where the lens is at the sharpest. Don't need a lot of depth of field because the window's quite flat, and I'm just going with a shutter speed as high as I can get. I've got the ISO up to 1000, which is probably the limit that I want to go to keep it nice and keep the quality up. I don't want too much grain, if any, if I can help it, but it's quite dull here at the moment. So I'm going for 1000 ISO at f8, and that's giving me, at the moment, 1/60th of a second. Now, because the windows, the surrounding windows is white, I've actually dialed in 1/3 of a stop exposure compensation, just overexposed slightly, just because what I'm finding is that if I go with the average meter reading, it's actually coming out quite dull. The windows are going a bit grey looking, so I'm bringing that back, and what I'm doing is I'm just, like I say, I'm just offsetting the window just to the left, because I think it makes a nice strong composition, and waiting for a moment when the birds get a bit excited, whether, you know, at the point when another bird comes up to join the group, like now, and you get this greeting as the birds pair bond, which I'm sure is what they're doing, like I say, in readiness for the breeding season. But they really nestle into one another. They greet each other, shake their beaks, and they sort of preen each other on the neck feathers, and it really is lovely. So that for me is a little unexpected bonus. Kittiwakes. So sadly, my time in the Lofoten Isles has come to an end, and I just wanted to summarise how I felt about my experience here. Now, I have to say, this place is just jaw-droppingly beautiful. It's one of the most stunning mountainous places I've ever been to, and I'm not the most well-travelled photographer, granted. I have spent a lot of time in Scotland, and I've really only got that to compare it against, but my goodness, this is just amazing. The light here is like no other. Now, the question I'm asking myself is, have I come away with a fantastic shot? And I have to say, yes, in the fact that I got the shot at Hamnoy, where we stayed. Really pleased with that, but it's not mine. It's not one that I've created, it's one that I've copied. And it's nice to have, but it's not really what photography should be about for me anyway. It's about creating your own images, your own memories and your own experiences. The light right now is fantastic, and I've got a lovely scene behind me. I've got a lovely beach. There's a chance of a shot here tonight. I'm not going to do a video. I'm going to just take my time and enjoy the whole experience, and hopefully get that image that I'm really craving for. So until next time, if you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and all that's left to say is bye for now, and I'll see you soon.